Welcome back inside the WCBL studios. I'm your content host for the season, Clark Monroe with IKS Media. And today we continue our preseason coverage of all of our 12 coaches interviews to give you a behind the scenes look at, of course, your favorite teams across the league. And today we're joined by Sylvan Lake Gulls coach Jason Chatwood. Jason, thanks for joining us today.
Yeah, you bet. Thanks for having me.
So before we get into the Gulls a bit deeper, I was reading a little bit about your career resume, both as a player and a coach, born and raised in Alberta yourself, plenty of accolades as a player. Can you walk us through kind of where you started and how you ended up where you are today?
Yeah. So like I grew up in Innisfail, Alberta, and kind of grew up playing minor ball there up until a certain age, and then kind of make the move. We started commuting into Red Deer for the AAA teams, doing that, and then kind of got involved with Team Alberta, played on a few Team Alberta teams, and yeah, then was lucky enough to get opportunity and got a scholarship to go to Kansas, to junior college Colby, Kansas. Played there for 2 years and had a good career there, and then moved on to Gonzaga University and finished my career there. Played 2 years there, and then stayed and coached a year, and then now kind of back home, living in Red Deer. Married to my wife Heather, have two boys that Tucker and Owen that are kind of starting to get involved with all their sports and baseball, and then run the academy in Red Deer.
That sounds awesome. Now, you're being very humble when you said you had a decent career at Colby College because we're about the same age. You're a couple years older than me, but it must be pretty cool to be a Hall of Fame inductee at Colby College. I saw that. So yeah, I know you're being humble about it, but can you talk to you? What was your initial reaction when you got the call that you were going into? I know it's a junior college and it's not like a,
Yeah,
overall baseball, but it's still pretty great to be able to be recognized in that kind of form. What was your
yeah.
initial reaction when you heard that?
I remember Coach Carter called me, and it was kind of funny. It's so my I met my wife in Colby. She's from Saskatchewan, and so yeah, she got inducted into the softball Hall of Fame the same year that I got inducted in the baseball Hall of Fame.
Oh,
So
okay. Yeah.
we got a call together, which was pretty special. But yeah, it was an awesome place, and somewhere that's very close to my heart. Amazing, small community, small college, but it was perfect for me to get my collegiate start, and was lucky to, I got to play every day. I set a couple records. So yeah, I mean, as you get older and you look back, I think it's something that you appreciate a lot more, and that you're older. At that age, you're just going and all you want to do is play. I don't think you think too much more. So I think to get an honor like that, and to have your name up there in the Hall of Fame, I think as of now, I'm assuming that's going to change, but I think I'm the only baseball player in the Hall of Fame. But some of the guys that have came through there after me, I wouldn't be surprised if you hear some names probably called sooner rather than later.
That's pretty awesome. Regardless, but you've been with the Gulls now since 2021. So for you personally, as a coach, you've been doing it. This will be, if I'm not mistaken, on the math there, your fourth season or fifth season with the team.
Yeah. So, well, I guess this would be year five.
Yeah.
21 was kind of like that Canadian only. It was like a modified COVID season.
Yeah.
And we were part of the four teams in that. But yeah, this would be um, fifth total. And then the fourth year with like the whole league back together.
Right. Of course. Yeah. So now going into your fifth season, I guess. So for you personally, as a coach at this level specifically, what are a few of the biggest learning curves that you dealt with early on, and maybe some of the bigger lessons that you've learned since then over the last few years?
Yeah, I think like scheduling, obviously scheduling and understanding the landscape of different schools and different conferences and where they are. Like guys have different timelines. So some guys arrive later than others based on their schedules. And then some guys have to potentially head back to school earlier than others. So there's a lot of managing the scheduling part of it, I think. Travel at times, you know what I mean? You're managing your days and your times. Travel can be tough. But yeah, I think it's just trying to put the kids in the best spot possible to where they feel comfortable, having as much depth on your roster as possible, because the guys need some days off. They need time off, and you don't want guys to feel the need to potentially play through injuries too. So it's like it's understanding that and getting to know the players and making sure that you have their backs, and have, sometimes guys would want to play a little more even though they're banged up, and they don't understand yet that they need to be healthy when they go back to school in the fall. So that would be some of the biggest things I've learned. And then yeah, I mean, obviously you get to, year 4, year 5, you get to know the other communities well. So it's like you look forward to going back and seeing some of these spots, and you get to know some of the coaching staff. So you build those relationships with other people throughout the league. So
Yeah.
it's pretty cool on that end.
Okay, well, on that note, then you mentioned the other communities. What would you say so far has become your biggest rival over the past few years? A team you love to beat, or a team you circle on the calendar a little bit more than others?
Yeah, I would say the teams south of us right now, we've had a, pretty good. And I would say, Okotoks and Lethbridge, it seems like we play each other a lot, and it's very good environments,
Yeah.
good crowds at both places. But yeah, and obviously it's kind of came back the last 3 years we've had that Western Conference matchup with Okotoks, and I think we have a ton of respect for each other. And when the game starts, it is a battle. They know that we're coming at them and they're coming at us, and I think the fans get into it. It's a nice location that you see fans from both communities driving back and forth. So they're fun games, and I know the players get up for them and the fans get up for them, and it's really really good baseball.
Yeah, for sure. So speaking of that, speaking of Okotoks, you guys finished 1-2 in the regular season standings last year. Focusing specifically on you guys, a 44-12 record, best record in the regular season. You did sweep Brooks in the opening round, but then you did lose to Okotoks in a really great second round series last year. What positives can you take from last year, outside of obviously finishing with the best regular season record? But what are some positives that you can take, or a couple things that maybe you look back on and say, oh, could have done this a little bit differently, that might have pushed us over the top from last season, that you can take into this summer?
Yeah, I think just like I said, like the regular season was special, and we had a lot of key performers and guys that played, and I think it's just in a tough round with Brooks to start, and then obviously it came down to that matchup with Okotoks, and I felt like we had multiple chances in game two, runners on scoring position, and we just couldn't find a way to execute. And I guess that's baseball, right? That happens, and then they found a way to make some key plays, and had a couple timely hits. So I think that I felt like we did pretty well. I was really happy with the situation we put ourselves in, and I don't think I could ask much more for the guys. Like they gave us all they had, and we had chances. Like one play here or there, a little different, or one hit falls. I felt like we easily could have won that series. And then obviously, like Okotoks has, they had a very mature lineup the last couple of years of a lot of returning guys. So I think that playoff experience for them, it kind of showed. They had some guys that had been there before, played in those situations. So I think for them that was something. I think that they had a lot of that experience of guys that had been there, and we maybe didn't have as much. But I don't discredit our guys for that. So I think that it was a great series, and um, it's a battle. But like I said, at the end, you got to kind of tip your cap to them. I think that that last year, I mean, obviously, I'm sure you'll ask them with this interview. Like they had 3 rounds that went three games, so it wasn't just our series. Like they had to go through Lethbridge, and they pushed them to the very limit, and then we pushed them, and then all of a sudden Moose Jaw. So it was, I mean, that was they earned that. They went the distance with all three, and they came out on top.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely an interesting playoff run last year for a few different teams. Definitely. So, speaking of that experience, you mentioned maybe last year you didn't have quite as much. Will you have some key players coming back from last year's roster, and that might be part of your leadership role this season?
Yeah, it's kind of it's like a mix, right? Guys on the mound that have been there, and obviously, I think those guys that were maybe first year's player in the league and understanding the whole summer ball experience, now to have those guys back after 2 3 years of college, and get the landscape of it. So yeah, we have some guys that we're really excited about. I think like Matty Funk's coming up, for his fourth summer, and he's been a staple. Like Sylvan Lake seems like it's part of his home, and so we're going to rely on him a lot. In the locker room and on the field. Brock Tiarina's back, and he finished the second half with us last year. So Josh Tucker's coming back on the mound. Same thing. He's multiple summers. But yeah, I'm excited the mix between our older returners and some of our new guys that are coming in. We got some new guys that are younger, and we got some new guys that have a lot of college experience as well. So yeah, it should be a lot of fun. Guys that were really excited about the league, um, and excited about getting the opportunity to play for Sylvan Lake.
That's fantastic. You need that mix, right? It happens every year. It's a league with a lot of turnover. Obviously, a college summer league, so you never know necessarily who's going to be coming back. But to have a mix is kind of what you want, and then it obviously transitions into future years after that. So, Jason, if I were to tell you, I just got back from the future. Okay, I just got out of the time machine. I came back, and the Gulls went all the way. They won the championship. Initially, what comes to mind for you if I say what would have to be the X factor for that to happen this summer?
Yeah, I think that it's the same thing. To keep guys healthy, manage their workloads. I think too, summer balls at times can be a grind. I think
Yeah.
that these guys need to understand that it's like it's hard, but you need to make sure to have some fun, right? And I think that they understand that, like in the area we are, a lot of people look at this league like it's a minor pro environment,
Yeah.
and people care a lot, and kids come and they care, and it's like they want to come watch you play. So I think it's just reminding them to just enjoy that and enjoy the process, and then when you get in those big situations, just like have fun with it, right? Like you're playing in front of two, three, 4,000 people. You don't get those opportunities very often, so just go out and have fun and enjoy it. And I think that, yeah, you keep working hard and have good daily routines and habits, and then do you put yourself in that situation where you get a chance to play for a championship? I think is all you can ask for.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, there you go. I know that the culture you guys have built there in that Alberta region has been pretty fantastic. So, like you said, the community is going to come out. It's a great community, and it's going to be an exciting summer in Sylvan Lake. So, enjoy the summer, Jason. Thanks for your time today. I know we're going to be talking to you down the road as well. So, good luck to kick off the season.
Awesome, thanks, appreciate you having me.